Hello everybody, it's Foxy speaking, and welcome to another episode of Foxy's Fun Inspirational Chats. And today I will be your host. And in this episode is a future story. This is a story. This is not based on something I did in real life. This is a story. Let's say this story is set for roughly around about the year, say, 2025, something like that. And this is based for the 2025 Worthing Bus Rally on the final Sunday of July 2025. It was Worthing Bus Rally 2025. Obviously I got up out of bed, jumped into the shower, got washed up, uploaded a morning video before heading off to have my breakfast, and then walked down to the bus stop for the 700 bus and all that. So did all that, got through the morning upload, had the breakfast of porridge, walked down to the bus stop and waited for the bus, which was the 700, the seafront bus stop outside the King Alfred Centre in Hove. So yes, once that was done, walking to the bus stop at King Alfred bus stop and checked the Sunday bus timetable. Fortunately, I was on time for the bus, but obviously before the Worthing Bus Rally, I was going to go to the Worthing Happy Sunday American Custom Car Rally Show of 2025, as they generally coincide together on the same day. And so waited around for my bus. And once waited around for my bus, before long it had arrived. Obviously my camera was with me, had the batteries charged up for whenever I needed to change the camera battery, all that. So the bus arrived, went to the bus, paid my ticket fare, and boarded the bus. After roughly half an hour, it's around about an hour or something like that it takes from Hove to Worthing by 700 bus. I think it's roughly around about 1 hour or something like that, But this, although it's generally just something I would do annually, attending Worthing Bus Rally on an annual basis, this was a particularly special moment. This special moment was going to be something particularly special. Obviously I was going to see whatever friends I would meet at Worthing Bus Rally, like many friends, including Ainsley, who I've known for 5 years. We've been friends for 5 years, Ainsley and myself, before I met David, which was 3 years later in 2021. For this year's Worthing Bus Rally, 2025, that year of 2025 Worthing Bus Rally, obviously it was going to be myself and David Scott attending, after having a little bit of time attending the Worthing Happy Sunday and Custom and American Classic Car Show 2025. Obviously we're going to have an observance there for about 20-30 minutes before walking over to the Worthing Bus Rally section after Steen Gardens, where the American Car Rally would take place. But it wasn't just going to be myself and David. There was going to be my friend Bill from Surrey, obviously, as he attended Worthing Bus Rally 2023, but I missed him for the Worthing Bus Rally 2021 because I got a bit held behind. Oh goodness, where was I? Oh yes. We were to be also meeting Tommy Gardiner, Peter Mackett, and Ian Postlethwaite as well. They were to be joining us as well. Obviously Bill could only go for a limited period because he would eventually have to go back to Surrey, to feed Meg, the cat, and also Bruce the skink, and the other animals, the other nice pet animals he's got kind possessive ownership of and all that. Which are in a way Bill's prized possessions, really, as one might point out, in the nicest, tremendous possible way, as one could certainly set it out and all that. Or set scene, all that. But yes, it was going to be the six of us, and obviously obviously it was inevitable I was going to run into other enthusiasts who I may not have met before, but some who might know us from the videos we'd provided from the previous ones. And obviously some friends I'd known before, including Ainsley, who I've known since 2018. It was an exciting day for both the Worthing American Car Rally Show 2025 and Worthing Bus Rally 2025. While sitting on the bus, although I did take some videos of the bus trip, I could not help but feel excited for the day ahead. I was really terribly, extremely excited. I must say I really was. Before long I'd arrived at Worthingstein Gardens, and I came to the Worthingstein Gardens, and there, who had already arrived about 5 minutes before I'd arrived, was David Scott. And Bill was already there, as he got there about 10 minutes before I'd arrived. And I gave my friendly greetings to David and Bill. "Hello, Foxy, how are you, kind sir?" Bill said. "Hello, Bill, it's nice to see you again." "Hello, matey, hello, Foxy, how you doing? How you doing, youngster?" David said. And "Hello, David, hello, Bill, it's certainly a real pleasure seeing you two today," I said. "Oh, Foxy, I've got a surprise for you." I said, "Oh, is it?" Yes, and there, walking up behind David Scott, was Peter Mackett. "Hello, Foxy," Peter said. "It's nice to see you." "Hello, Peter. I missed you at the Parham Park event of 2023. It's certainly indeed a real pleasure seeing you." "Well, please don't worry about missing me at Tinker's Park, Foxy. It's completely fine," Peter said. "We should be expecting Tommy Gardiner fairly soon, and as well Ian Postlethwaite." "Did someone say my name?" said a man. A man standing beside, not too far from Peter Mackett, but was taking a few photographs of the American cars, turned out to be Ian Postlethwaite himself. "I think you mentioned me." "Are you Ian Postlethwaite?" I said. "Yes, I am, and you must be Foxy." Ian Postlethwaite said. "Yes, nice to see you, Ian," I said. "And this is my best friend, David Scott." "Hello, Ian, how are you?" David said. "Nice to see you, David. I've seen you in his videos on the fairground organs." "Oh, right, yeah, no, sometimes I've seen you comment on them, all that," as David said. "And this is my friend Bill. You may not have heard of him," I said, as I was introducing Ian to Bill. "Nice to see you, Ian," Bill said as he politely shook hands with Ian. "Good to see you, Bill, and it's nice meeting you, even if it's only the first time." After we greeted, we got our cameras out and decided to take some videos of the car rally event. But whilst we were taking our videos, it was myself and David and Peter, whereas before a man recognised us. "Peter, is that you?" said a voice. As we were looking, there was a very tall man looked towards us, 6'2" height, I would imagine, and that man was Tommy Gardiner. "Hello, Tommy," Peter said, and to the man, who turned out to be Tommy Gardiner. "Hi, Peter," Tommy said. "It's good to see you." You must be Tommy Gardiner. It's nice to see you. I definitely am Tommy Gardiner. You must be Foxy, Tommy said. It's good to see you again, my friend. And nice to see you too, Tommy, I said. And this is David Scott, my best friend. Yes, I was about to ask. I've seen you in his videos. Hello, Tom matey. Hello, Tommy. How are you? David said. No, I've seen your comments on the fairground organ videos we've done, all that sort of thing, really. And this is Bill, by the way, David said. Nice to meet you, Tommy, Bill said to Tommy Gardiner as they shook hands as they were introduced. I knew all along that Tommy Gardiner was a tall man, since he did tell me this. Well, he is a very tall man with a 6'2" height. He said, just taken a few videos and a few pictures of these really very interesting American classic cars. I've seen them before, but I've never seen so many in a little garden like Steen Gardens, Tommy said. Although I quite like the fairground organs and all that, I must say, I really have liked all these classic cars I've seen. I very much like these classic cars too, Tommy, I said. No, I do like the vintage organs. I always said to Foxy quite about once or twice, Tommy, that in order for us to get together, we'd have to go to a vintage event like Tinker's Park, Henningley, Pardon Park, or Norton, all that sort of thing, really, or the Great Dorset Steam Fair, all that, So, but it's good to see us at a classic car event. And I think we met previously at Magnificent Motors 2025 and then had a little adventure in Brighton and Hove and then went out for a few drinks in the pub, all that sort of thing, really. David said, that was a ball, yes. We had a ball. I certainly had a ball, didn't we? I said in agreement. And so since we had all introduced ourselves, we all took some videos of the American classic cars. Sometimes I accompanied David, but sometimes Tommy accompanied me, as well as Bill. So we, in a way, accompanied each other, all that, and had friendly conversations as we looked at them, the classic cars. Not just amongst ourselves, but we had friendly conversations among many enthusiast spectators who were attending the event itself, and as well as having some friendly chats with some of the owners of the priceless American classic cars and all that. It was a very good time and we had a ball, but we were not going to stay long because of the Worthing bus rally as well. And after the Worthing bus rally, we were going to have a fish and chips meal at the fish restaurant in Worthing. As there's a little fish restaurant in Worthing, not terribly far from one of the Worthing shopping centres, or one of the little shopping aisles in Worthing. Before long, about 20-30 minutes had passed, and then we decided to go to the Worthing bus rally section. And so we decided, and we all walked together to the Worthing bus rally section. And whilst we were walking our way there, I pointed out the fish restaurant to everybody. This is the fish restaurant I ate out at after Worthing bus rally of 2023, I said. No, I think I've passed it quite a good few times. No, it looks very nice. Interesting. At least I'm not going to pay for the whole meal this time. I was like, no, don't worry, Tommy. I'm going to pay for myself, David Scott's and Peter Mackett's meal. I'm paying for mine, David and Peter's meal. And obviously you agreed that you would pay for yours and Ian's meal. Oh yes, yes, no, that's right. I remember now. I do remember clearly now. Yeah, but obviously the only thing I can't do is I have to watch what I drink because I can't be over the limit when driving. As Tommy said, no, I'm completely aware of that, so don't worry. Do not worry in the slightest. Because if I'm over the top with alcohol, I'll be stopped or arrested for drink driving. No, I'm completely aware of that, I said. And after taking a quick look at the restaurant, we proceeded to walking to the bus rally zone. But since we all agreed we were going to eat out at the restaurant once the bus rally was over. Before long we arrived at the bus rally showground and looked at all the amazing buses that could be seen on display. Obviously there were some that were going to come and go, some that would come in, and we were going to take plenty of videos of the buses on display and the vintage bus action and all that. So in a way we were going to have a ball. And as well, we were also going to have a few Worthing bus rally bus riding excursions together from time to time and all the rest of it. So there was certainly something to look forward to, a great sense of excitement and all that, because it was not just going to be myself, David Scott and Bill, but it was going to be myself, David Scott, Bill, Tommy Gardiner, Ian Postlethwaite and Peter Mackett. Obviously we met a few of my friends, and I introduced some of my friends to some who I'd already introduced to David before, but managed to introduce them to Tommy Gardiner, Ian Postlethwaite and Peter Mackett. Had a few, and then we went on for a few bus ride excursions around, which took us around various parts of Worthing, or into the Goring parts, or the Shoreham, or the Brooklands, all that, or the Fedding, or the Charing, Lions Farm, wherever you would go, all that, and all the rest of it. It was a fun time. Sometimes we rode the buses together, sometimes myself or Tommy or Bill or David would ride one bus, take one bus tour excursion, another would take the other and all that. It worked out differently what was best for all of us. But obviously before long, over time, as the fun at the bus rally progressed, Bill eventually had to go back home because of Meg the cat and Bruce the skink and all that, as he had to tend to them, feeding them and making sure they were happy and comfortable. And when it was time for Bill to go home, back to Surrey, we all exchanged our friendly goodbyes, and Bill said his utmost friendliest goodbyes to Tommy Gardiner, Peter Mackett and Ian Postlethwaite, since it was the first time he had ever met them. Both Ian Postlethwaite, Tommy Gardiner and Peter Mackett exchanged their friendly goodbyes to Bill in return, and was certainly all the more most thoroughly happy to have met him, and thoroughly happy that I had introduced them to Bill. Bill said his friendly goodbyes, and off he went to his parked car in order to drive back up to Surrey. And it was still about an hour or so, or maybe about 2 hours, something like that. More time for another bus tour excursion, but we decided it was going to be myself, David Scott, Tommy Gardiner, Peter Mackett and Ian Postlethwaite who was going to ride this Worthing bus rally bus tour excursion all together. So we rode it all together. And so we boarded the bus, and this one was going to take us all around the West Worthing and like the Goring and all that. And we were going to see some nice interesting scenes and interesting sights of greenery and all that. And obviously when we were riding we'd met Coastline and Stuart. David very much likes Coastline, and Stuart is in the same way I do, and we had some chats, took some videos. And even Stuart and Coastline, we introduced the two of them to Tommy Gardiner, Peter Mackett and Ian Postlethwaite, the three of whom were absolutely pleased to see them and were astounded by Stuart and Coastline's knowledge of various buses and all that, since they are bus enthusiasts themselves. Before long the excursion had ended, and once that excursion had ended, we still had time for one more, but we decided it would be one more, and then we'd film the very ending part of the Worthing bus rally, and then go out to our fish meal at the Worthing restaurant, about a mile or so down the road, near to the Worthing Pier, and near to one of the Worthing shopping lanes and all that. Not terribly far from the Worthing Edinburgh Woolen Mill and the Worthing Peacocks, all that, but a little bit further on from the Worthing River Island and Marks and Spencer's, all that. So we took one more bus tour excursion, but obviously Stuart and Coastline didn't join us for that one, as they were going to see the very last batch of the American car rally in Worthing, that was. And so yes, we rode it without hesitation, and certainly did we have a lot of fun when riding on it. The bus rally bus tour excursion was over, and once that was over, we had about a few minutes or so to watch the buses leaving the Worthing bus rally site. And so we got our cameras out and took videos of the buses leaving the Worthing bus rally site. As they departed the Worthing bus rally site, it was going to be a day of fond reminiscence. Before long, all the buses had left, and the Worthing Miniature Railway, which takes place when Worthing bus rally takes place, was all packed up and taken down. But we didn't ride it. And once everything was had stopped and was packed up for the day or for the year until the 2026 Worthing bus rally proceedings, we walked our way to the Worthing Fish Restaurant, and that's where we walked our way. And we arrived at the Worthing Fish Restaurant and walked up to the counter and asked, "Excuse me, will there be one table for 3 and then another table for 2? They said, yes, which one are you? It's going to be the table for 3. Oh, it's going to be myself and Peter," David said to the lady. "Could you show us where it is? Yeah. Come on, Foxy, Peter, we'll find a table for 3. Come along now." And so myself and Peter followed David and the waitress to a table where there'd be a table for the 3 of us. And obviously Tommy Gardiner and Ian Postlethwaite were going to sit at a table for 2, which was fortunately nearest to us, so we could all communicate together. "Yes, and is there a table for the 2 of us, myself and Ian?" Tommy asked. Yes, one near to the other 3 gentlemen," said another assisting waitress. "Okay," and showed and led the way to where Tommy Gardiner and Ian Postlethwaite needed to sit, which was fortunately nearest to myself, David Scott and Peter Mackett. Oh, sitting near each other. Yes. And so we looked at the menus and we ordered what we wanted to order. Before long, our meals arrived, and we had, I think it was myself, David Scott and Peter Mackett, had some wine with our starters, and I don't know whether Tommy Gardiner or Ian Postlethwaite had starters, whether they ordered starters or whether or not they were going to go straight for the mains. So, not terribly sure on that matter, but we'd eaten our starters, but once we'd eaten our starters, we'd ordered our main meals. And once we ordered our main meals, it was going to be a bit of time before they arrived, and before long they arrived at the restaurant. they came to our table, the main meals for the 5 of us, and then we dug in and began eating the main meals. And before long we'd finished the main meals, but we decided not to have a dessert. I certainly wasn't going to have a dessert because it made me too full. Same in the case of David Scott and Peter Mackett. And not sure about Tommy Gardiner or Ian Postlethwaite, but I think we decided that was enough after the main meal. And so, but David then decided that he was going to pay for mine and Peter Mackett's meals, as well as his very own. Because he was like, David, I was going to pay for it. I said, no, don't worry, I'll pay for it, Foxy. I don't want to end up owing you a large amount of money, so I'm going to pay for mine, yours and Peter's meals. And Tommy Gardiner, as he'd agreed, was going to pay for his very own and Ian Postlethwaite's. Before long, the meal bills were paid, and once they were paid, myself, David Scott, Peter Mackett, Tommy Gardiner and Ian Postlethwaite respectfully left the Worthing restaurant. And there we left the restaurant. Fortunately we were not drunk, we just had only a little bit of wine to drink, but luckily it wouldn't put Tommy Gardiner over the alcohol drinking limit for driving, so he would not be arrested for drink driving, luckily. So, and a few minutes after we left, we exchanged our friendly goodbyes to each other. We exchanged our friendly goodbyes to Peter Mackett, as Peter Mackett had to walk back to Worthing railway station, and same with but I don't know whether Peter Mackett drives or not, I'm not sure, but I don't know whether Ian Postlethwaite drives or not, let's assume he does, and I don't know whether or not Tommy Gardiner drives or not. It's quite likely, but I don't know, but it's possible that he does. So let's say that Ian Postlethwaite and Tommy Gardiner, after we said goodbye to them, was to drive back home to their homes, and Peter Mackett was going to get the train back to his home, and obviously myself and David Scott were to be getting the 700 bus together. But obviously I was to be getting out at Hove, and David was going to carry on into Brighton before going off to Seaford. So myself and David Scott, we exchanged our friendly goodbyes to Tommy Gardiner, Peter Mackett and Ian Postlethwaite, and then we walked to the bus stop for the 700 when it's en route for its Brighton service. We got back, we boarded the bus. Obviously I'd had my ticket, so because I'd paid when en route to Worthing, and we were on the bus and we chatted together, had some fun inspirational chats of the day we'd just underwent and gone through, and all the fun we'd had and all that sort of thing, really. And just what a ball we'd had. We were really having a ball. Every step of the moment, every moment of the event, and we all enjoyed every moment and every single hour and minute and second of it. Before long, the bus arrived at the Hove King Alfred, and I was to be getting out there. I said my friendly goodbyes to David. Yeah, but cheers, matey. Goodbye, Foxy. Bye-bye for now. We'll see you at Tinker's Park, all being well. David said, yes, you too, David. And don't forget, David, we got Suvecchio for the Tinker's Park 2025. Yes, now I remember now. It does remember, yeah. Yeah, bye for now, mate, he said. And then I said, goodbye, David. And I walked down the stairs and then got off the bus. And the bus left, and I waved to David out from the window. And then I walked back home, and was back home, went on the computer to get the videos up and ready and check the YouTube stuff and all that. And also was quite happy and petted the cats Daphne and Nixie, and remembering what a fun day I'd had, in fond reminiscence of what a brilliant and exciting day I had had, being mine, David Scott, Tommy Gardiner, Peter Mackett, Ian Postlethwaite, and as well as Bill's before he left for Surrey, thinking of what a wonderful day we'd had together, at both the Worthing American Car Rally and the Worthing Bus Rally of 2025. A fond reminiscence, remembering what a wonderful and fun time we'd had for 2025 of those rally events. The end. Thanks everybody indeed for watching. I mean, this is a future story. I don't expect this to happen in real life. If it did happen in real life, this would certainly be beyond a big bonus. A real big bonus. It would be beyond anything in that high regard and all that. You know, but could you imagine if myself, David, and Bill, we ended up meeting up and had teaming up and joining with us at those rallies, Tommy Gardiner, Postlethwaite and Peter Mackett. Could you imagine if they joined us at those rallies? It would certainly be a fun experience, but hopefully one day in the future that will happen, as well as it not only just being at the vintage rally events, but also at bus rally or classic car rally events too and all that. Hopefully that will happen one day. Once you'll see, and never say never, because it could happen one day. Yes. Thanks everybody indeed for watching, and I shall certainly see you in the very next episode of Foxy's Fun Inspirational Chats. Ta-ta, another time. From Foxy.